Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Lagavulin 2022 Jazz 7-year-old. Dustin, 2022 was the first year they did two releases for the Jazz. They did, a 14-year-old, excuse me, and also the 7. So they usually only did one bottle. 2022, they did two bottles, one for the normal one, which was the 14-year-old, and then one for people who just wanted to get a Lagavulin cheap, which is the one we have here. And as you will notice, my friend, very light Lagavulin.
If you're wondering if they colored this, I don't think it's possible. There's E150 in here.
You'd be shocked.
I
do not agree. This is one of the lighter whiskeys I've ever brought you guys. But still, I wouldn't shock me if Lagavulin colored, because Lagavulin's a super light whiskey. Dude, I saw 11-year-old Manager's Dram in person.
But this is almost yellow. I'm just saying.
It was nothing. It was white. It was water. This is 59.5, Dustin, by the way. Okay, so anyway, all bourbon cask maturation, if I remember reading this right. It is cask strength at 59.5. Bottle for the Jazz Fest in 2022.
I'm terrified by that 7-year age statement.
And then bottle number 2409. Buddy, I am too. You know, when I saw this, what I first thought? I'm like, oh, Taos great. Diageo special release, version 2 and 3. You know what I mean?
And they've got that standard 8-year-old, which I know, I get it. Some of you guys really think that's great. I think it's absolutely horrible.
Dustin's the biggest hater of Lagavulin 8 of all time. Now, I'm a huge Lagavulin fan. I'll never buy another 8 again.
You gave away your last bottle of it.
To Keith.
Yeah, but you still were just like, here, just take it.
That was like the first edition, too. I'm like, dude.
That was the 200th anniversary, and you still were just like, nah, take it. I don't want to see this anymore.
I was never going to drink that bottle of whiskey, and I hadn't opened the bottle yet. Yeah. And that's a lot to dig into a whole bottle you haven't opened. You know what I mean?
And don't enjoy.
Yes, and don't enjoy. But this isn't 48% 8% ABV. Yeah. This is cask strength. Very simple Lagavulin, but hey, we never know what we're getting here. I'm not expecting anything over the moon. But I don't care that looks like it's water.
No, I like it. Again,
dirty hose.
It makes me think they probably didn't color it. To your point, they could have. I just can't imagine E150 got it that slight gold.
Lagavulin is a light spirit.
Oh, I agree. But 7 years in a barrel should add some color.
All right, Dustin. I'm getting lemon. A nice lemon. Big wallop of peat smoke. Bonfire. Bare naked bonfire smoke. Like, it just... The wood has no distinction. Like, it's a bonfire, but there's no flavor in this wood. Twinge of mint. Mm-hmm. What are you picking?
So, when I nose it, Mike, from a slight distance, I get nice, pleasant lemon, sweetness, puff of smoke, beautiful. It does not smell like a 7-year-old whiskey. Then I get my nose a little closer and I dig in.
It's fire.
And it gets dirtier, earthier, but it also has that kind of like unfinished, not mature yet, like oak note that comes through on these younger whiskeys, especially with like a refill bourbon. And while it's not that note is unpleasant, but the overall experience is still not unpleasant. It's good, but you are definitely noticing
young whiskey.
And this is youthful, and I forget if you go on Lagavulin's like YouTube channel and you go like to their like first videos they put up from like 10, 15 years ago, they had like one of like the managers or whoever talking about Lagavulin. And he made the comment. He's like, to me, Lagavulin, 10-year-old is just young Lagavulin. It's not ready. And it's why he was hyping up how great the 16 is. Little did he know 5 years after that, I think, they would release the 8-year-old.
Got younger.
But that was kind of the opinion of a lot of the Lagavulin staff, was that Lagavulin really is a whiskey that does require 12 to 15 years to really start hitting its stride. And I'm nosing why. That said, this is much more pleasant and sweeter, fruitier than the 8. This has a little bit more depth and richness, maybe because it's cask strength, but overall I'm enjoying this.
There's a peppery oak note, twinge of mint and lemon.
Hey, you mentioned the mint.
Far off in the tobacco, or far off in the distance, tobacco leaf. The pepper's really coming up and nice now. It's a prickly pepper.
It's an unpleasant tobacco leaf. That's what it is. It's gone a little bad.
Now there is a little bit of that vegetal moss on stone note that is part of that tobacco experience. But actually, for a 7-year-old, now I have went back to it a couple times, spent a little time with it. It's an impressive amount of little flavors there.
There's a lot here.
There is. It's all just naked and outside in like the baking sun, though, like on concrete. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the lemon's just here and it's exposed. There's no cast doing anything for you.
There's more here and there's more richness than you might expect on a 7-year. However, when you start talking near 60%, you do expect a little bit more richness. And so, I can go either way with that.
It's bare naked, bro.
Interesting.
But enough going on there that keeps you
I'll hop in.
Keeps you picking at a few things. For a 7-year-old, it's pretty complex. It's not easy to do this young of a whiskey interesting at all on the nose. And this is interesting on the nose.
Ooh, that's different.
Dustin, give it to me.
You ever had the Icebreakers gum?
Yep.
Or Polar Mint or whatever?
Okay.
That's the mint note I'm getting on it. And I've never gotten that note ever before.
It's a cool mint, isn't it?
On anything. It's like a really interesting cooling mint. And I've had this. I think we had it when we first cracked it together.
Yeah, it's evolved.
I was not getting that. In fact, it's actually, the finish is actually leaving me with a little bit of like bubble gum, like minty bubble gum.
Shockingly, isn't it?
Up front, it's really heavy spices. Good amount of like fresh, sharp peat. Because it's so bold up front, it kind of like starts here and then it dips down as you get to the mid palate. Nice little bit of peat. Finish, spice, oak. Definitely more of like a wood smoker with just, I don't know, they burnt some pizza crust or something. There's a little bit of a burnt note that's a little off. This is really improved, Mike. I'm actually shocked because let's just say I had a very low score in my head coming into this one. Let me give it one more little sip before I... Okay. Yeah.
Lemon lime mint. It's 7 alcohol 7. It's Lagavulin 7-Up. Lemon, lime, popping. Wood spice. As soon as you swallow. Spicy, huge, raw bonfire pit. Indistinct. No chimney, no coal, no sootiness. All removed from it. Just raw fire. And this settles into pepper. A little bit of moss that's dried out. Lemon lime comes back here and just kind of settles in with a sharp, peppery peat. Almost like a Talisker peat.
I just noticed kind of when I did that second little nip, almost kind of getting towards maybe that like that baby vomit note.
I could see a note where you would get there. There's some type of fresh,
but there's so much like lemon like too that it's hard to really say that's what it is because it's way more acidic than that should be. But there's
Super
just sort of that like
lemon lime popping.
Yeah, that kind of milky vanilla, kind of just interesting note. I don't smell it, but I taste it. Just actually, you know what? Now that I'm saying it, I don't really smell it here. There's just vanilla, pretty distinct vanilla with a light oak note.
Yeah, there is a putrid oak vanilla in the background. Like I don't like that vanilla note.
Again, the more I go into this, it's got a unpleasant oak note on here. So it's weird how often sometimes on younger whiskeys I get this unpleasant oak that I kind of wonder if it's potentially maybe it's just still like the still note is still there and it hasn't really like integrated.
That's a possibility.
And that's maybe more what I'm getting here now that I dig.
I mean that's fresh whiskey.
I mean it really is.
Beautiful, dude. I don't know what you mean. I was surprised about the 7-year-old.
Water simplified it.
I was expecting absolute garbage.
Yeah. Water has simplified the nose, but it's gotten more pleasant, if that makes sense.
It's not as sharp.
Yeah.
60% is still pretty sharp. I don't care how old it is.
I still get some sour notes that lend me towards youthful versus beautiful and expressive.
For the first time, I would say sour creeps into the experience with water.
The overall experience, I think, is a little bit more sour. Whereas initially, when you said lemon, like it was that, I would say the overall experience is slightly hinting towards sour.
You're a little higher. You're higher on that factor than I am. I think it's a little cleaner than that.
Well, no, what I'm getting at is I think the overall experience is now, if it's...
with water, you mean?
Yeah, with water.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I would say the plurality of the experience is sour, meaning that's the strongest note. Now there's oak, there's vanilla, there's some lemon.
With water, for sure. It's there.
That sourness is sort of the thing that stands out the most. The mint note's still there, kind of, but it's more integrated. Yeah, it's a still note that's on there at the finish. It needed more time in the cask to get that still note out. It's not an unpleasant one, though.
This is one of the best under 10-year-old Islas I've ever tasted. I'll tell you that. It's not amazing. It's a solid whiskey, though.
Well, I do not like it with water.
It's definitely better neat.
No, yeah, it lost some of the.
It did not handle water well.
Initially, it was really oily and viscous, and it left that lemon lingering note. Now it's sharper. The lemon doesn't really even come in. It's much sharper. Recharred oak maybe is being used here. I wonder if they recharred some of these barrels.
Yeah, they did say. Forgive me, I'll put in the description, but festival bottling from American Oak Refill Cask and ex-bourbon hogsheads, personally selected by distillery manager Jordan Paisley. Paisley?
I don't know. I haven't seen the new guy in any videos yet.
Matured in refill and ex-bourbons.
It's a
hogsheads. I like the blue label.
Tell you what, no, I do too. Actually, I really enjoyed that. I think the Moscatel one I have, it's got kind of that bluish green.
All right, Dustin, let's talk for a minute about price. I got this thing for 107 pounds. Ooh. I threw it in with a few other bottles, so I got it shipped here. I think it was like $128, something like that.
107 pounds is close to 150.
107?
Yeah, 107 because it's about $20 to $20.
106, 107. You're right. I think it was like 128 to 1.
Yeah, we're almost at 130. You're right.
So it would be about 130. That'd be like 130.
About 140 actually.
Do the math, Dustin.
Well, 100 times 1.28 is 128, but
correct.
You paid 107.
Okay, so that would
the
be an extra 1.
That'd be 138, roughly.
No. You got two. We'll do math later. Where are you at as far as the whiskey score on this one?
I'm really struggling here because it's like a 90 on the mouthfeel and the texture. Mm-hmm. But it's like an 84 because of some of those still notes in the palate. But then the finish lasts forever, which is great.
Give it to me, Dustin.
I'm going to give it an 87, Mike. But I don't know how I'm scoring it an 87. It's like it's got stuff that is getting into like the low 80s for me, and it's got stuff that's almost pushing 90 with that like mouthfeel richness. This is my second time having it, but it's such a different experience from last time. I feel like it's my first time having it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, it's gotten better every time.
And I mean, you really haven't drank this down much at all, so I wasn't expecting it to have opened up.
I mean, I tell you what, man. I mean, even you bring it down here's the shoulder and you leave it open because I got this bottle.
But you weren't even at the shoulder when you poured it today.
No, for sure. But I had open for 2 months. I mean, it was enough to kind of air it out, especially with young whiskeys. That sometimes is enough.
A month and a half, 2 months. Yeah, I guess it's been a little while since I've been up here. But yeah, it's good. I could give this between an 85 and an 88, but I'm going to go 87 because it does the things I like the most, which is mouthfeel and finish. Those are the things I score the highest on. So even though the nose on here is giving me some notes I don't like, and even though the initial arrivals give me some stuff I really don't like, the overall experience is actually very positive. So 87, but that's a very buyer beware 87.
So I've had this thing 3 times. This is my 3rd time having it, maybe my 4th. And that's a long way of saying I came around to the exact same score as you as 87. And I'll tell you why. There are things I really like about this whiskey, but it's too young. In some aspects of it, it's way too young. But for, let's say, a high end of $140, Dustin, is it worth it to have once? Absolutely. I don't know if I'm going out there to buy backups. I could. I'm not.
No. They
came back on the website, like you said, a day or 2 later. With $10 more expensive.
10 pounds more.
You were absolutely right about that.
They do it with Lagavulin every time, man.
Yeah, but I tell you what, this is more than what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. I was expecting a disaster of a whiskey. But it was Lagavulin, I wanted to try it, and I'm happy they did. It was a good buy. It was a throw-in bottle when I was going to get some stuff shipped anyway. It was better than expected.
Here's the thing I'll say about this. The Lagavulin 8 does not give me the stuff I like about Lagavulin. Mm-hmm. It gives me everything I don't like about Lagavulin. Other than maybe, it has a nice, peated boom finish. But anyway, this has a lot of stuff I like about Lagavulin. So if you are a Lagavulin fan, this is a bottle that it'd be great to at least get a pour of.
Yeah, you will recognize this as Lagavulin. A lot of the components that I love in Lagavulin are all here.
Yeah. If you were going to give somebody like a tasting kit, like 12, 1 ounce pours of
A
Lagavulin.
7,
to
a 12,
learn,
a 16.
yeah, to learn the
A
experience.
distiller's edition.
Yeah, to learn Lagavulin's distillate, this would have to be in that education kit.
You start out with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is really a great education of Lagavulin, so that's part of my score too. Was I was like,
I didn't thought of that actually.
this is just a great example because this is the good and the bad of young Lagavulin, whereas the 8 is way too much bad, not enough good. This is all of it.
Dustin, well said. Those are our thoughts on this particular 2022 Jazz Fest Lagavulin 7-year-old. Bottle, I think I said it before, 2409.
Gold looks really good with that color, and I would never have thought those would go together, but it does.
Carolina. Lagavulin does a stately looking bottle. I have always thought that. And packaging back in the day.
Until Diageo F's it up with their special
Until they
releases.
put dragons and whatnot on there. I shouldn't know.
Purple penises.
All right. So anyway, Dustin, those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey. If you guys had a chance to try this Lagavulin 7, or me and Dustin being too generous at 87, let us know. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy youthful drinking.
We'll see you next time.